Hey y'all, hey, it's another episode of Bonafide here podcast featuring the one and only Admon Gilder.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, Ashley.
You know what? We blessed to be alive. First of all, shout out to you with the shirt though. The best dad ever. Shout out to you with that. So
Hey, man, it's gonna make a lot of people mad, but hey, it's okay.
hey, you own that. You own that. So but we gotta get started, sir. So can you tell us like how you got to where you are in your sports journey?
I definitely gotta give a big shout out to my father, Admon Gilder Senior. He's one of the guys that kind of, guided me through the whole entire path. Since I was six, and he put the ball in my hands, and he just kind of directed me. And it's kind of really big coming from where I come from, because there's not. Like I said, there's a lot of fathers out there that do a great job, but he was one of those guys that consistently stayed in my life and, uh, you know, introduced me to the game of basketball and the things that we wanted to do as a family. So, big shout out to Senior.
Man, first of all, shout out to the fathers because, but like, to see your, going from college to overseas, like, what was the college life for you? Like, with, you know, if, like, what was it like when during your time versus like seeing it to how it is right now?
Sure, I had a great college career. I mean, when I look back and kind of like look at the things that I was able to accomplish, and then, like I said, I went to two great universities that gave me an opportunity to come showcase my skills on the biggest platform. So, shout out to Texas A&M University, shout out to Gonzaga University. So, Um, like I said, they were A&M is also. I'm a Texas kid, so I wanted to stay home. That's why I decided to go to Texas. And like I said, man, it was one of those things where me and my friends kind of like wanted to go to A&M, and I just want A&M just to be known as a football school. We just wanted also to bring the basketball program up as well. So, like I said, we were able to compete and play for two Sweet 16s. We were able to win an SEC conference tournament, conference title as well. So, shoot, we had a lot of things that we wanted to do when we were able to accomplish it. And from the Gonzaga side, it was kind of like it was like one of those weird things where I kind of got hurt. So I was like, well, I didn't really know I was going to Gonzaga until maybe like the first week of May, right when my graduation was gonna come up, and like I said, they offered me an opportunity to come up to Spokane, Washington, and ever since then, like I said, I'm always glad to say I'm a Bulldog.
Man, because you got a chance to play for two like elite programs in, and they're usually always in the NCAA tournament. And I remember the Texas A&M run that y'all had back in, like, man, in the Sweet 16 ones, like y'all gave every team like a run for their money during that run, and it was like, and then just to see that, so like, and also A&M and Gonzaga both are in like different leagues. So like, you know, would you say the competition with say the SEC with Texas A&M and it, or is it Big 12? Ooh, correct me if I'm wrong. Is it SEC or Big 12? Correct me if I'm wrong.
SEC,
Okay.
A&M is in the SEC, and then the Gonzaga is in the WCC. So
Yes. I was about to say, I was second guessing myself. I was like, SEC. So my question is, like, with the competition between the SEC and the WCC, were there any similarities and differences when you were playing during that time?
a lot, yes, just because no knock on WCC. There's a SEC is a Power Five schools, all five Power Five schools. So therefore, you're competing against some of the best every single night. And the thing about with the WCC is, it's a mid-major school that has been able to improve and get better over time, and now be able to compete for national championships, being able to make the tournament. But the SEC, when you look back at it, you got the Kentuckys, you got the A&Ms, you got the Tennessees, you got the Arkansas, and I can go down the line and keep on naming the name. But like I said, the SEC is one of those big power five conferences accomplishes that, be able to compete every single night, when they step on the court.
Man, because like from being an Aggie to a Bulldog, like you got the best of both worlds at for you, sir. So
I like to call it A to Z. So when you're at A&M, you're called an Aggie, and when you go to Gonzaga, you call it Zag. So I went to A to Z real quick.
A to Z real quick, like 0 to 100 real quick. So
Yes, ma'am.
my question for you is, during that time too, like, NIL hasn't been like, you know, hasn't been up there yet, but there was always like those talks like, man, college players should have been paid already, like, especially with the scheduling and everything, seeing, the fans wearing like their favorite player's jersey, you know, what's it like to see now the NIL been in effect in college basketball nowadays?
Shoot, I'm a little jealous. You know what I mean? These kids are able to get recruited and make millions of dollars. And, like I said, like, it's kind of crazy because someone always has to bite the bullet when you go into every situation. And as you look at it time, year in, year out, like when I was at A&M, when some of the vets and some of the older guys come back, they were like, man, the facilities didn't look this nice when we were here. So it's just like, you can show that it's a continuous growth as time go on. I think that's one thing they're trying to do with the NI settlement. They're trying to give some money back to those people that played from 2016 until they started actually with the NIL. So hopefully everybody that's out there that didn't get the NIL, that they may be apply for their money and be able to get some of that here soon.
I hope you applied for it, sir, especially you were during that time.
I was the first person when they told me about it. I was the first person to sign them papers.
I know that's right, because man, like I wish people would understand like the toll it takes on a lot of the college athletes, especially just like like I said, imagine getting up at 5 in the morning for workouts, like the early workouts, and then having to go to class like real quickly and then go to weights and everything. Like, you
It's a
know,
grind.
and it's a job. Like that's the thing that a lot of people don't understand. Like what they're doing is a job and it can take a toll on them. And so this leads to my question for you is like, and I always say that athletes are humans first. So my question for you is, when it comes to mental health, how important is mental health to you as, a father and an athlete?
I think it's important just because, like I said, as an athlete, there's a lot of stuff that we go through throughout our careers because you're back and forth with different teams. You think you're supposed to be somewhere where where you might not be at that moment. You go through injuries, you go through family situations, and so I think it all ties into it together because like I said, first we're human beings. So therefore, at the end of the day, our first job is to be somebody, be a human, be a father, be someone in society that's trying to be important and try to figure out what's our purpose and and fulfill that purpose. But from the basketball side, man, it's you got to be really strong. Just because, like I said, there's a lot of people that don't want to necessarily go overseas. There's a lot of people that quit just because of certain situations in their life. And so, if you're not mentally strong to be able to understand that you're going to go through ups and downs, then man, you're not going to last that long.
For sure. And speaking of overseas, like what was the transitioning from, the pros, like from the collegiate to like the pros, how were you able to prepare yourself for that transition? And like, what are some ways that you would tell someone that about to make that jump, especially after college?
After college, the transition was different for me because I was during the COVID time. So that was part of the life and world that was like going like what's going on right now. So I didn't have the easy transition as some of these guys do as of right now. So it taught me a little bit of kind of like understanding that anything can happen at any given time. And if you are really serious about pursuing basketball, like you gotta sometimes maybe even might have to start lower in a division where you know you're better than, but hey, at the end of the day, it's an opportunity to go be able to showcase your skills all over the world. And I think the advice that I give to other players that's coming out of college, take your time. You're getting NIL. You're getting a chance to get a free education. Like, enjoy college as long as you can, because once you get out of college, that's when the real world starts. That's when everything. I know you guys got making money, but now you got to pay bills. You got family that you got to provide for. You are now not just competing against players in college. You're competing against guys that's from 18 all the way till maybe 45. I've seen guys that career has been pretty long, and so now you're thrown into those woods. So therefore, like, you're competing for a contract. You're competing for the best teams overseas, the best teams in the NBA, the worst teams in the NBA, the worst teams overseas. So just take your time and enjoy everything that college has to offer right now.
Ooh, you better let them know, especially let them know, sir. Let them know, cause I mean, and like, and it's crazy because some of the, I always wonder like, there's probably so many misconceptions about the overseas, competition that a lot of people like to downplay. But from your perspective, what would you say is like the misconceptions of the overseas competition?
The misconceptions that those guys cannot play basketball, and that is completely not true. Those guys over there are able to compete with the best of the best. They're some of those guys start as pros at maybe even 16 years old, so therefore they know how to play basketball, they know how to compete, and now it's your job to go show them that you're the best on the court. So
Man, because the physicality is too real too. Like from watching some of the games, like the physicality like is so real. Like
well, it's
just
different. It's different in every league. So therefore, like I said, there's levels to it. Like I said, the NBA is the NBA, and as you look at that physicality, you got to be the biggest, strongest, fastest players in the world. And so when you're able at their level, like, you know, the physicality is crazy. But when you're overseas, there's Euro League, there's Euro Cup, there's Champions Leagues, there's first division, there's second division. So the physicality is important, but it also depends on who you are as a player and like where you are at that moment within that year.
so like my question, and this leads to my question. Especially like so you have like the NBA, which is like a lot of people nowadays kind of see it as entertainment to watch their favorite players. Then you have like overseas, like there's different levels. You have like the different players from all over that's in like different countries that it's really really competitive. But not saying NBA isn't competitive, but like would you say the competition is similar but kind of different in ways that you would see like say some of the people from overseas could compete in the NBA and then some of the NBA could compete, or is it kind of different?
I think the thing that I have been aware of and been able to just, like, talk to a couple different people overseas is different. The grind is different. So therefore, I think anybody's are able to, not anybody, but when you have the resume, when you go show what you're capable of doing and putting in the work, I think it is possible for a lot of guys to play in the NBA, but there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. There's a lot of stuff, as in, maybe this dude doesn't have the work ethic. Maybe this dude parties too much. Maybe this dude doesn't have the IQ. Maybe this dude has attitude problems. So there's lot of things that a lot of people don't understand that goes into it. And then from overseas, I think it's like we practice hard. We practice every single day. We practice 2 or 3 times a day. And when you hear conversation with other NBA guys or people that's been around the NBA, they don't practice as much outside of maybe training camp and stuff like that. So you're more you're more in the NBA. You have to pick up on things really fast and be able to do it in the game. But versus when you're overseas, we do it so much in practice to the point where now they want to see it in the game.
Ooh, okay, sugar sugar.
Come on,
Ooh,
Ashley. Come on, Ashley.
I know. I was just saying because it's like it just seems like you have some, and I could be wrong. Some players are playing just for the lifestyle of it. They may like the lifestyle of it. but they may not like the essence of the game. Like they probably used to love it, or they just might like the, like I said, they may like the lifestyle of it. But sometimes, players gotta remember they're under a microscope everywhere they're gonna go, everywhere, everything they're gonna do. Like they're on a watchful eye, if that makes sense.
100%, definitely does.
So my question for you is, first of all, like I said, shout out to you, sir, for like, I always love it when a male athlete be showing love to like, you know, the women's sports, like, hey, be supporting. And but my question is for you is, as you say, basketball is basketball, regardless of, if it's a male or female. My question for you is, what's it like from your perspective? What's it like to see like the women's games in some ways grow?
To see him grow, I mean, I definitely would love to see him get more opportunities. And I know from just from a couple friends that I have, they don't get paid as much. So giving these women the money that they deserve, um, and then I think that's the biggest portion of it. I think the girls are able to play basketball. They're on national television. Even when you look at it from the college standpoint, like they're getting broadcast. They're able to play on ESPN, ABC, TNT. So um, give these women what the money they deserve. I think I'll say that.
I know that's right. Give them what we deserve, and that's on period. So, and I noticed too, like, first of all, you are a father. I just love the shirt. Can you just show it again, please? Just show it again. Yes. So my question for you is, you being a father, how what's it? How are you able to balance fatherhood and your career, like all at the same time? Were there times like it was hard, or how do you manage to balance all of it?
Great support system. That's what I call it. I have a great support system that helps me since the day she was born till till today, April 2nd, 2025. I think that's
Ooh,
the best way to describe it. It's been individually, it's been one of those learning experiences because, like I said, I'm still trying to pursue my career and still trying to figure out how to pursue my career, but also be a father at the same exact time. And so that was one of the reasons why I decided to play out there in Las Vegas with the Ignite team because I wanted to be closer to her and I wanted to be inside the states. And so that opportunity gave me a chance to be, on the same time zone, honestly.
oh, and you a girl's dad, so that's a plus. I mean, we all love kids, but always it's something about a girl that be like, oh, okay, because my thing is, you see, with like, with the passing of Kobe, like everybody started like, being, the normalization, or the people say, oh, that's a girl dad. Like now you have like the dads with, you know, their kids playing in sports. It was like, oh, that's hey. So
I call it a Admon. If you can catch on and realize what that really is, then it makes a lot of sense.
hey, you better like put a trademark, co-sign it, everything, trademark it, get that, use it, trademark it, get paid for it.
Do you understand it?
Your name is Admon, and you are your dad.
Hey, there we go. You're a smart woman, Ashley, girl. Ooh,
I,
okay.
you know, just I had to took a little minute, but I was like, you know what? Boom, there you go. Boom. So, and it adds on to it because it adds on to it. So,
I got you, girl.
my question for you is, if you had to describe your journey, whether it's a word, whether if it's a phrase, whether if you are big in your faith and describe it in the scripture, what would it be and why?
In one word,
It could be any word.
any word.
True, it could be multiple words.
Hmm. Grind through adversity, and I can tell you why. Kind of goes back to some of the earlier questions that you asked. There's a lot of stuff that we go through as athletes And I'm not saying just because when you hear the word adversity, it's like, okay, like what is the word? Why adversity? Like I've been able to since I was a kid be an underdog. So me saying grind through adversity, knowing like there's a lot of people out there that are gonna tell you that you're not gonna be able to be an NBA player. There's a lot of people tell you that you're not gonna be good at this, you're not gonna be good at that. So just knowing that like using those words and still being able to do the work and then be able to go show people. I mean, I think that's just the, the best way I can describe it.
Ooh, okay. Where my fan at? There you go. Ooh, it's the whole phrase for me. That whole phrase and the answer. Yep. There you go.
That, or I can definitely say, and there's another one. I say, all God. I just, like I said, this man, the man above, has been able to put people in my life. He's been able to uh, help me to be able to travel around the world and be able to still do this game that I love. And like I said, shout out to him.
I know that's right. Yo, God is good all the time, and all the time God is good. So
That's also one of my homeboys, Mason Jones's scenes. All God. So definitely shout out to him.
I know that's right. You better let them know. So my question for you is, is because there's so many questions. Because if you had to tell your younger self an advice, or what would you tell your younger self what to expect, in life?
Younger self in life. Oh, don't be afraid to make mistakes. And that can be on the basketball court, that can be in real life. And on the basketball court, I can give you an example. Don't be afraid to you just miss four shots in a row. Don't be afraid to continue to shoot the ball when you miss four shots in a row or three shots in a row. Or you made a bad play, you get into your head, and that goes with the mental health. Keep on playing. There's a reason why there's four quarters and two halves in every game. It's a long game, long possessions, and keep on hooping. And then from a life situation, sometimes we always try to second guessing ourselves. Like, did I choose the right school? Did I choose the right sport? Like, no, you got to understand and have faith in whatever choices that you make, and understand that this is your path and this is what God is leading you to. As you get older.
Man, that hit so deep. I saw it for you. That hit so deep because it's like it's almost like when you second guess yourself, it's almost like a reverse psychology is being put onto you. Like it's like almost like your mind's playing tricks on you, and it's like, no, can't do that to yourself. So
Can't do that. Can't do that.
I mean, but also like in ways too, like you gotta, we also learn like when it comes to mistakes too, because we hate making mistakes, but sometimes those mistakes end up being like, say, a hidden blessing. Like, man, maybe there was a reason why that happened, or maybe the reason why, like, not everything in life is going to be a straight line. Now, if there is a way to get to a straight line, someone let me know, because, but it's usually like the maze, or like but the last thing you want in life is to be like stagnant, where it's just like you hear and then it's like instead of going upward. So you know hey, we just dropping gems, we stay dropping gems. So
Definitely are. What are some of the things that you've kind of like, you got a podcast. What are some of the things that you've seen, uh, seen the things that you wanted to see the growth? What are some of the, like, what's the word for it? What are some of the obstacles that you have to go through, with doing this podcast?
ooh, I've never gotten asked this, but this is a great question. I think for me, one of the biggest things I would say is, ooh, one of the obstacles is, you know there's always like those people that you want to like say you will hope to have to come on your podcast. Like, of course, a lot of people have those dreams, like who they want to interview. Like, some people may have dreams of interviewing like the biggest names, and but always like trying to figure out like the best way to contact them is probably one of the hardest because say like in Instagram, like example on Instagram, you can DM somebody, right? And then they'll say, "Oh, you can only DM them one time until like you receive an invite or something," or say you try to DM and then it's like they can't DM, you can't DM them unless they follow you. So it's like, what's the best way to do it now? Or like, you know, just at times figuring out like, you know, I see this podcast going forward. I see my podcast doing some big things. But it's like at times like what if the people that I want to like what if the people say you want to interview, what if they see it and they're like like they just downplay like, oh, it's just another thing. So it's like at times I value my podcast. I value the essence of it. I value it. Sometimes I times like second guess myself like is it like is it like kind of big enough or something? But at the same time, I realize the right people that will support you will come along and stuff. So hopefully
Well,
that makes sense. So
to, I'm looking at your Instagram and looking at all the things you got going. You're doing a great job, and I want to say for a woman that's trying to advocate for women out there, continue what you do, and sky's the limit.
you gonna make me cry later on. So. Yo, you gonna make me cry later on, cause
I, I I thought you was gonna put these glasses on. What are these glasses? How you look with your glasses on?
man, come on now. I look studious, kind of, sort of.
Yeah,
But.
yeah, 4.0 right there.
Ah, I wish I had that, but a 3.7 will do in college. So yeah,
Ah!
three
Talk,
point seven. We'll keep it going. Yeah, you
talk your
know.
shit.
So, so I always ask my guests this question because we definitely got to talk after this episode. Because you are matching my energy, and I love it. I feel very honored somebody's matching my energy. I feel it. So, so my question for you is, and I always ask my guests this question, and bona fide means authentic and unique. But for the men, you know, being authentic or authenticity. This is my blooper moment because this is raw and real. My podcast is raw and real. I'll be having bloopers. So my question is, what makes Admon Gilder authentic, and what makes your story stands out?
Um, what makes me authentic is because if you know me, if you really know me or ask anybody about me, I'm a really deep, kind heart type of guy that that really just want to see everybody win. Like I don't have too many beef with a lot of people, and if I do, I don't know about them. So I think it's just one of those guys that want to see everybody win, and sometimes even more than myself. So therefore, that's one of the things that I'm trying to work on, like have more confidence within myself and in the journey that I'm on. And I think outside of that, and what was the second question again?
What makes your story stands out?
And what my story stands out that I've been able to accomplish a lot and that I'm still going. I mean, I think that's what it is. Like I've been able to go to two great universities. I've been able to play for some great overseas teams. I've been able to play for one of the best high schools in the city of Dallas. And so the simple fact that I'm still going, I'm still trying to figure this out, and trying to hopefully bring up people along the way. I think that's what it is. And I've been
You
through
are a Texas-made person.
Texas, Texas. I'm from Texas. Yes, ma'am.
I need to go there one day. I just never been. I've heard many things about it, just never been. So
Yes, ma'am. It's a great place to be.
can you let the people? I'm sorry. I have to. It's the energy for me. So I have to like just let everything. It's the energy for me. So, but can you let the folks know how and where they can find you, and if there's any upcoming events or any merch that you own, like you know.
You can follow me on IG at underscore A3G, and that is Admon the third Gilder.
I was wondering about the three because I'm thinking, is it like the number three, like the jersey number, like because
The jersey number, and then I'm also the third Admon. So
oh,
yeah. So
oh, okay.
and then when I was in high school, I wore the number three, and like that was what I was known for. I was a shooter. So therefore, like when I won state my sophomore year, what brought schools and coaches to to try to recruit me was I was the best shooter on the court. So three has kind of been something that's really been special for me my whole entire life.
Hey, shoot or shoot though, right?
Shooter, shoot.
I want to say I am not. If that other line was finished, like But I mean, the thing is, because the jersey three was always big for me because I wore jersey the number three for my jersey. That was my number, just because I always ripped like the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Like that was I remember hearing, yeah, because I used to hear where Dwayne Wade would wear the number three was because the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit.
That's big. See, I wore mine because of Allen Iverson as well. Like I was a big AI fan growing up.
What?
Yes, the Like Mike movie, the AI, the we talking about practice, all that, like the everything that went on with him, the braids, uh, shoot, and then I played in the Reebok circuit, so like it was one of those things. I used to wear AIs all the time.
Man, practice, not a game, but practice.
Practice what?
11 times that mentioned practice in that whole script, and then the fact that I remember hearing like
Not the game.
his mother would braid his hair during the game in the NBA games.
He was a superstar. That was like one of the first big time faces of the league that was able to like that he was able to express himself the way he wanted to, and so he kind of got judged for good and bad. But at the end of the day, like if like I said, that's Allen Iverson being authentic. So we love it.
Now I see why you wear number three. Oh, oh. Now you got two reasons why you wear three reasons why you wear number three. Okay, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm here for that though. I'm here for it. I definitely might need you to come back on here then. So definitely need you to come back on here. So I'm
Whenever
here.
you need me, just let me know.
Yes, yes, sir. Thank you guys for tuning in to Bonafide Her episode 126. And big shout out to Admon Gilder for coming on here and sharing your story. You can check out the live replay of episode 126 after this. Thank you guys for tuning in. Peace.